So now we're going to listen to the overheads. We have a left and right recording here, as you can see. This is quite normal. These are really important because they're going to form the main image of the drum set. And we need to make sure they're balanced, left and right, focused and tonally managed to avoid low-end cancellation with the kick and the toms. So first, we need to treat these as one instrument to avoid upsetting the left-right balance. So as you can see here, I've bussed them to an auxiliary channel where we're going to apply compression and EQ. Of course, first thing you need to do with these is to pan them left and right. You need to decide whose perspective you want to work with. Here, I've chosen the drummer's perspective. So the floor tom needs to be on the right along with the ride, and the rack tom should be on the left. Don't automatically pan 100% left and right, because sometimes that just sounds unnatural. We need to check for phase and polarity alignment between the two recordings. Zoom into the waveform to see how well time aligned they are. Use your ears to get the snare well focused in the center. We'll use an instance of sample delay in the lagging channel to center the snare. Notice as I increase the delay by a few milliseconds, the snare starts to move from the right hand of the image to the left hand of the image. We want to bring it right into the middle. That way, when we start to add the close mic, top and bottom snare mics, everything becomes tightly focused. So just 1 millisecond of delay has improved the situation. It's always worth trying phase inversion on one channel when you have two channels like this. Let's see if it makes any difference. Yeah, doesn't sound so great, does it? So there we are. We're going to leave it as it is. So now let's talk about EQ. Now typically with overheads, I always like to roll off the low end a little bit. That helps to reduce the likelihood of low-end cancellation with other microphones. We're using linear phase EQ here to reduce phase shifting. Now, maybe emphasize the low end of the snare, about 200 Hz. Tame some of the boxiness around 500 and add some air to the top end. There's also a little bit of a harshness, which I've notched out here. So now let's talk about compression. What we're trying to do here is to soften the transients and boost the room sound, because this is really what overheads do best. We'll be mixing in the close mics later, which can add the punch that we need. So notice as we increase the attack, we start to lose some of the transients, which is kind of what we're trying to do here. And as we increase the release, we start to lose the room sound. So we can dial that back until we get a nice balance of room sound with a slightly softened attack. That feels about right. Now one thing I'm noticing here is that the crashes tend to be quite overpowering. So we're going to use multi-band compression. And you'll see here we just have the third band enabled. So I've adjusted the parameters so we're listening to the area where the crashes are most prevalent and adjusting the threshold just to tame those when they hit. That helps the whole overhead image start to work well and give us a platform for mixing in the other close mics.